What's up YouTube, Mr. LawMessy here, and today we're going to dive into a review summary of the Diablo 4 Campfire Chat for Season 2 and all of the changes they're bringing to the game. Now, prior to this, the game has been in a steady decline or a fast decline in terms of player count, numbers, viewership, everything. On a general day, Diablo 3 and Diablo 2 seem to have more viewers than Diablo 4 on Twitch. The player count was down over 99%. They were struggling. The game has had a lot of issues. It definitely felt like it was released a bit in a alpha beta form with plenty still to be done and fixed. And we have discussed and described many of the issues along the way. So, with that being said, Blizzard has said, hey, we need to come in and change some stuff. Season 1, they really, I was going to say knocked it out of the park, but the reverse. Struck out. There we go. That's the reverse of knocking it out of the park. They really struck out with Season 1. They had the idea of we'll have a season, whatever. It was probably already being developed, and they were too slow, to say the least, in getting meaningful changes in. And of course, everybody saw right through it, came in, played the game, dropped off the game, or many people probably just didn't even really play much of Season 1. However, Season 2, they had some time to prep and prepare, and we can dive in to what these changes are. So, this is Season 2, and I want to be clear, if they just came out and said, we're just going to make Season 2 have some fun seasonal content, that's still going to fail, because the core of Diablo 4 is what is still struggling, still lacking. There needs to be a lot of fixes. There's a lot of annoyance and time waste and whatever within the game that is just needing fixed. So I'm eager to see and read about what is happening here in Season 2. However, I am more concerned with the core of the game rather than the seasonal content. Seasonal content comes and go. Core is forever, right? So let's start. New endgame bosses. Bosses will be unlocked by completing specific endgame content. Each boss has a specific loot table, giving players the ability to target farm specific items. Okay, that's interesting. We'll have to read more into that. New endgame bosses will persist through to future seasons. So that's nice. We're just getting more endgame content, which is good, because a huge issue in current Diablo 4 is level 60 to 100 is just boring. There's nothing to do. And there's not even a bunch of bosses or things to go fight. You're just ugh. Certain bosses will require specific resistance gear in order to defeat them. I actually like when they do this sort of stuff. I think it is fun and interesting, and something that I'm looking at doing as well in Llama RPG, where you approach different bosses with different solutions. So, even something like when you're fighting Mephisto in Diablo 2, right? Uber Mephisto. When you're fighting Uber Mephisto, he has conviction aura and just massive lightning damage. And so if you're not going in with a Wisp or T-Gods, overmaxed lightning resist, things like this, you're just going to get popped by him. Is it possible? Sure. But generally, you want to kind of have a little bit of gear shift. And so it makes you approach different bosses with different puzzle pieces, which I think is nice. And the final Uber boss, Duriel, will have a chance to drop Uber unique items. I'm kind of sad that they told us that Duriel is the final Uber boss. I kind of wish that we would stumble upon that. Otherwise, that's cool. And Uber unique items, I'm guessing this is the Shaco Grandfather, those crazy ones that were 1 in 20 billion chance, which is good because they need to give us some of that back. Right? If you put an item at 1 in 20 billion chance and you can't trade for it, it's not ever an item anybody's ever going to care about. But if Duriel, even if he has like a 1 in 500 chance of dropping it or something, that's at least something where you're like, ooh, that's kind of in a reasonable spot if I grind for it. Season of Blood content progression. So this is them breaking up how you're going to spend your time. So there's Echoes of Vershawn, Grigor the Galvanic Saint, coming out of Helltide. This is kind of your 50-70. And then past here, we have the Beast in the Ice, Echoes of Vershawn, Duriel, King of the Maggots, Grigor the Galvanic Saint, Lord Zir. So there's some more bosses, some more things to go do, which is nice. Vampiric powers. So this is the theme is vampires for season 2. Players will be able to collect up to 22 class agnostic vampiric powers. Armor pieces will drop with 3 different types of packs, which will activate these vampiric powers. Players will be able to cleanse and inject vampiric powers from armor. Inject it into armor? I'm confused. Hold on. And vampiric powers can be unlocked and upgraded by collecting the season's currency, Potent Blood. Okay. Place into the Sanguine Circle. When you overpower an enemy, you spawn 3 volatile blood drops. Collecting volatile blood drop causes it to explode, dealing physical damage around you. Every 5 seconds, your next skill is guaranteed to overpower. Acquired with Potent Blood, acquired from Blood Harvest, acquired from a Serpent Cornered quest. Lucky Hit, up to a 50% chance to inflict Vampiric Curse on enemies. Afflicted enemies have 15% chance to spread to other enemies. And Vampiric Curses, stored souls, deal 200% increased damage. When you evade, you turn into a cloud of bats. Unstoppable for 3 seconds. Enemies along your path take a little bit of damage and are inflicted with Vampiric Curse. It's kind of fun. Yeah, there's probably a ton of these, but yeah, that Metamorphosis seems pretty dope. Okay, so that's the thing. So it kind of feels like it's just like another legendary power that you're just crafting onto armor, right? Is that basically it? You're just crafting. No? What am I missing from that? You need armor to use it, but it's on your character. Okay. Good to know. Thank you, Quick Prey, Wolf and Shadow, and Doliad. All right, Blood Harvest. New open world event similar to Helltide. So they've created Helltide again. Blood Harvest will be available starting at level 1 or will rotate between open world zones. Currency earned during Blood Harvest will stay with the player even after the event ends. Will not replace Helltides. So this to me is this is how you collect Potent Blood, I'm guessing. I don't understand. They just it seems like they just copy pasted Helltides and changed the currency to Potent Blood. Okay. I mean, it's something to hopefully try and move you around the map a little bit more. Which, again, when you have an open world, that's one of the most disappointing things with Diablo 4 is that there's an open world, but you don't actually go anywhere in the world. So I do approve of at least creating more zones that it's enticing to go around. That being said, it does feel like it's a little lacking a little creativity. Seems like it's the same thing. Okay. Blizzard. Gems will no longer drop. Players will automatically receive gem shard materials, which can be used to craft gems. Interesting. Do I have to carry around the gem shard materials, though? I don't... Okay, that's just in my materials tab now, though, and not in my items tab. Okay. Sure, I still want something to actually do with gems. That's my biggest issue with gems is like you put them in the first sockets and then you're done. You don't do anything else. Overall enchantment costs have been reduced. Crafting materials will drop in place of low quality gear. Wow. Normal and magic items will no longer drop in World Tier 3. Only ancestral items will drop in World Tier 4. I understand what they're going for here. But I believe it doesn't really address the issue. It's like a Band-Aid, but the issue is the items still suck, right? Items aren't fun. And this is just removing more and more from it. Like something that's really cool. Again, I'm going to speak Diablo 2 because that's my game. But even like, you could apply this to so many games because there's so many cases. Number one, I'm thinking of like finding an awesome like low level dueling circlet. That's like removed now, right? Because you're only finding ancestral stuff. Finding stuff for your alts that you're going to use to level up with. That's removed now because you're only finding ancestral items. Very kind of sad in that way. And then additionally, things like no normal or magic items. It's like, this still is just disappointing to me because I love like cool fortuitous rings of fortune or J mods or any of the cool blue items that exist. And then of course, normal items for all the like different bases that you're using for rune words and whatever stuff. Just like removing all of everything. It's like, all right, everything that drops now is just a rare and a legendary, which is the same exact thing in this game. Because they're just a rare is just a legendary with an enchantment. You can put it on anything or whatever. So you're just dropping one rarity of item or uniques. So two rarities really. You drop a rare or a unique. That's all that drops. And that's just like getting boring with the loot. Like that. Like this is yes. The problem wasn't normal and magic items were dropping. The problem is normal and magic items dropped and were pointless. Make them not pointless. Don't just make them stop dropping, in my opinion. Okay. Gems no longer drop directly as rewards. Oh, this is that thing. Enchantment cost went up to yeah. The item power of loot will be directly correlated with the monster level. Seems fine. Whisper caches will provide a plus 10 item power reward. Legendary caches will provide a plus 20 item power reward. Okay, so you can just get like better items when you do the caches, which is interesting. Okay, so trying to make like Tree of Whispers, I guess, more worth it. Health Tide cache rewards will provide a 20 item power reward. Got it. This article is glossing over and missing a lot of the important stuff. Really? Should we go to the like full breakdown Reddit thread of it? I feel like there was all the changes coming. Where's the blue post? This seems like it's got a good amount. All right. Blue post. Okay. 5 endgame bosses. Again, sad about spoiler for Duriel. I didn't know Blue Post was out yet. Reward pools have been significantly improved. Significantly increased the chance to drop Ruby Uniques. Perfect. The time between Legion events has been... individual bosses can drop unique cosmetics. All right, cool. Time between Legion events has been reduced from 30 to 25 minutes. Legion event warning timers increased from 5 to 10 minutes. Fixed an issue with Legion event pin would not display at the edge of the player's main map if the Whisper is active. The World Boss Fight is available more frequently to players on all world tiers as the spawn times have been reduced from 6 hours to 3 hours and 30 minutes. World Boss warning timers have increased from 30 to 60 minutes. Fixed an issue with the World Boss pin not display, blah, blah, blah. A message is now broadcast on the World Boss is 15 minutes away from spawning. I mean, this is like a nice change because that was me. I always missed the World Boss when I was playing because I just wouldn't look around for it and there was nothing that was telling me. So this is nice. Is the World Boss actually fun to do, or is it still just a horrible fight? That's another question, of course. It was like a terrible fight, and you would kill it in like 5 seconds. So I don't know if they've fixed that at all, but at least we know it's there. Golden experience rewards have been increased. We talked about that. To ensure inmates constantly give experience relative to the current player, the Nightmare Sigils reward from this will always be within 5 levels of the highest level Nightmare dungeon the player has completed. Interesting. Helltide chests have specific icons to indicate their type. And, okay, there. Experience and monster leveling. Decrease the time spent to reach level 100, making the journey about 40% faster. Wow, because they've already sped that up multiple times. The experience gained from killing monsters at level 50 plus has been significantly increased and rises steadily as you level. Huh. That's interesting. Yeah, these adhere to the item slot of the cache. That is... I'm not sure if that's a positive or a negative. Because they had it and it was really slow and then they sped it up. Then they nerfed it all in Season 1. And now speeding it up 40% again. It's really hard to say. Like, I don't mind a longer grinding journey if the grind is fun, you know. So again, it feels like you gotta have more on the grind. But who knows? We'll see there. Honestly, I think speeding up glyph experience would be more important to me than speeding up the time to 100. I mean, just because the dungeons just got so annoying with all the objectives and everything, I was tired of that. Prevent monsters from being less powerful as a character level increases by making monsters in World Tier 3 and 4 match the current player level at a minimum after level 55 and respectively. This increases the overall experience of leveling, making it much smoother. Prevent monsters from being less powerful. Okay, so now everything fully is... I thought it already was matching up to your level with the level scaling. Again, I don't think level scaling is a good system. So they changed it and they reverted it back. Okay. I don't think level scaling is a good system. Again, I think that needs to just be fixed. It's in a different way. Make zones have different levels and difficulties, and yeah, when everything just scales around you, it's, again, I don't feel like I ever get more powerful. Incenses now grant a bonus experience and persist after death. The persistence after death is really nice. I hated when I would die and then just lose the incense. Increase the potency of experience bonuses, elixir, season blessings by making them multiplicative with the world tier bonus. Interesting. So a lot of experience gain. Yeah, you can have small areas for level scaling, but when the whole game scales, it's just like... Nightmare Dungeons. Expedited the demon slaying process as Nightmare Sigils now teleports you directly into the Nightmare Dungeon. Okay, so they got rid of the teleport to the front and then you still have to do the load screen. Okay, I think this is better than that system. I'm still not 100% certain on it. I wish the journey to a Nightmare Dungeon was actually fun. But since it's not, it was just boring, then teleporting into it is like the next best thing. But at this point, it is 100% just a Path of Exile map. Or any of the endgame map, features. The fact that the Nightmare Dungeon exists on the map is irrelevant. Avoided some players not getting Nightmare Sigils from dungeons that have no final boss. They're now rewarded upon completing a dungeon instead of the final boss defeat. Objectives have been removed from some dungeons. Only defeating the boss is needed to defeat the Nightmare Dungeon. Oh, praise. Oh my god. It's like, I wish it said all dungeons for sure. It's like, I feel a little bad that like they put work into creating all the different objectives for the dungeons. But also they just weren't fun. They just were unfun. It was just not a good time going in and going to find the levers and having to do the 3 objectives. That is, oh my god. So it's a little sad that like they have to they're just cutting all that out. But and then like the one where the stupid shield shows up and then you have to just like go wait under it until it, oh my god. There's so many. Okay. Let me change my sound settings. I might be a little loud. Apologies. No, I'm not that loud actually. I don't know. Multiple Nightmare Dungeon afflictions have been updated. Backstabber, close monster attacks from behind you cause you to become vulnerable. Damage taken is increased by X%. Oof. Monster attacks reduce the damage of your critical strike by 3 seconds. Interesting. For critical resist. Death Pulse. Prevent death pulses on monsters that have explosions on death. Prevent death pulses from spawning repeatedly on top of each other. Lightning Storm. Being shocked while Protection Dome grants 35% bonus movement speed. Only starts in your combat. Only starts with Protection Dome. Caster has a direct path to a targeted player. And Drifting Shade. Duration reduced from 5 seconds to 3 seconds. Respawn time increased by 2 seconds. Okay. So just some changes there. Massively reduced backtracking by placing all dungeon objectives on the critical path of a dungeon, making them much harder to miss by taking a wrong turn. Again, it's like if going around, because my thought again in this instance here potentially could be like running around the catacombs or something, if I have to relate it back to D2. And it's like it's nothing wrong with having some of that, but having the objectives and like having to go save every, person that's tied up, and there's 5 people you have to save, and there's not extras, so you can't miss any and all that stuff. Yeah, if we're placing all the objectives just along the single path and we're just running the single path, it's like getting so linear now that there's definitely a why. Why do we have them even in the dungeon then? I don't know. I still think Nightmare Dungeons are in need of a lot of work. Dungeon layouts have been redesigned for many. We'll see what that is. Improve the overall readability of traps by enhancing their overall visual effects or reducing their crowd control. End caps have been added to ensure dungeon layouts don't feel too linear, but they do feel linear if all the objectives are on just one line and you can't go off the line. Paragon Glyph experience has been increased. This part is the one thing I do like. Leveling up my Paragon glyphs was tiresome. But again, if I like doing the dungeons more, I probably wouldn't care if it took longer, you know? Made dungeon events more worthwhile and enticing to players by increasing their monster density. One more thing with like Nightmare Dungeons that we got to get paint out. So this is it's kind of like it just was like boring tunnel, you know? Like this is just how like paths were and stuff. And you just have like objective here, objective here, objective here. So you run and you go get the objective. And then, oh, I forgot to get that objective. Oh, here's the boss. I have to go back and get this objective, right? Constantly having like this is how they were designed. And it was just awful. So now if you move these objectives, right? And you're like, here's the objective, here's the objective, here's the objective. Now you just run a straight line. And you're like, but you said you don't like dead ends and things. But a great example just in general overall is again, Diablo 2, because they do a great job of building maps where, okay, let's say the entrance to the map is right here. I'm just going to draw like a catacombs map that could exist, right? Let's just pretend it's, hold on, we'll do like this. That can be our exit. Then this can go up here. Then this can go over here. Then this can happen over here. Then that can be there. And that, you know, it's probably better to just grab a catacombs map. This'll get the point across better. So not everything, and this isn't even the perfect map to show it. I think this one's maybe better for it. But not everything is always just like dead ends and whatnot, right? Like, let me resize this to like 75%. So you'll enter in right here, and you have potential dead ends, but there's also plenty of like full circles that you can end up doing with stuff. Here is actually where your exit is that you want to get to. And so there is potential of dead ends and you know, of course, things, but you're not just constantly backtracking. It's not a path, it's an area. Exactly. It's not just a tunnel with a dead end, and then a dead end, and then a dead end, right? And then like, here's your boss room. It's not this. It allows you to really get in and make a decision. Right off the bat, you can make the decision. Am I going up this way? Am I going through here? Am I going this way and straight? Am I going to go this way? So you already get options of how you wish to move. When you get over here, oh, okay, that is a dead end. I'm going to continue going in this sort of manner and going around trying to look and find, you know, what I can see. And I've done a whole circle and I can end up there, or I can go this way and get the short way to it, or I can go this way and get this way to it, right? So this is where, if Diablo 4 created this, I mean, I'm just going to draw like a couple different paths that somebody may take to get to the end here. And the thing is, there's so many possibilities for how they get to this end, you know? So many ways that people could go about searching this dungeon to get there. Even something like going out this way and coming down here and then going over here and, oh, nope. And then finding, oh, okay, I just go up this way, right? So it gives you so many options, and you feel like sometimes you get a short map because you read the tiles well, or you just got lucky, and that's really fun. Sometimes it's a long map, but you get to explore it all and kill more things and whatever. And it's just so much better than the Diablo 4 maps where it always just is the same long line. Right? That is the best explanation I can give. Okay, moving on. Events, yada, yada, yada. Enticing players by increasing their monster density for the dungeon events to make you actually want to do them. And NPCs should no longer be killed with one hit in World Tiers 3 and 4. Item adjustments. That's good. Significantly freed up inventory space by making gems crafting material. Prevented players from losing their progress on a hardcore character from connectivity issues. Scrolls of escape are now consumed if a hardcore player disconnects while in combat. Thank you, Popsicle. Teleporting them to a safe location. Reduce the chance of being locked into a certain stats on a legendary item by reducing their overall enchanting cost. So they just did that overall, which is good. Yeah, do I just pull the network cord now if I'm in trouble? I mean, you would just push the scrolls of escape anyways, right? Reduced overburdening inventories and causing unnecessary trips into town. So here again, normal magic and non-sacred rare items will just drop as crafting resources. Normal magic and non-ancestral rare items will drop as crafting resources. So all that drops is ancestral, rare, / legendary, because remember, they're the exact same thing, and unique items. That's all that drops anymore. That's boring to me. Gold drops have been increased to compensate for this. Okay. Oh, because you're not selling all the things. Higher level monsters in World Tiers 3 and 4 drop sacred and ancestral items of greater item power potential. Okay. Normal is for cash rewards are plus 10 power and plus 20. Okay, we saw that before, yeah. I like plenty of things beyond D2R. I'm just saying, an item system that is only one item type, which is a rare / legendary, because again, they're the exact same item. That's it. Reduce the time spent having to regain renown each season. All earned renown rewards persist between seasons and characters. All earned renown rewards persist between seasons and characters. Wow. So they've just removed renown. They backtracked completely on it.
More than halfway
Which,
through the year, Mr. Llama Flower.
I mean, it is good. You still have to, you have to do it one time, because nobody wants to go and like find every statue over and over again. A lot of the renown was just a pain, but it's bad in a way because again, so many things are being removed and streamlined that it's like, what is? The game is being dumbed down so much. But that wasn't like fun. So it's like, it's good, but it's bad. I feel like that for multiple of these changes. Like, it's good they removed the Nightmare Dungeon objectives, but it's bad because it's like, all right, we're simplifying again. It's good that they got rid of gems, but it's bad because it's like, all right, we're just simplifying that again. It's good that they removed normal white items and sacred and whatever items, but it's bad because it's like, we're just removing so much of the game is being removed, which is interesting. So, but again, they're removing systems that weren't fun, so I can't be like, bad choice to remove an unfun system. But you kind of wish they would change the mechanics on some of the things to make them fun instead of just removing all of it. Okay. Earn skill points, potion capacity, max Vampiric points are from Renown will persist between each character. Renown experience gold must be earned on each character. Okay. Character 1 earns Renown Tier 2 in a region. They gain skill point and potion capacity. Character 2 earns Renown Tier 1 in a different region, gains a skill point. Character 3 automatically receives both Renown rewards from Character 1 and 2. Alright, that's fine. This also applies to hardcore characters if they were earned on a hardcore. Coveted items can now be marked as favorite and cannot be sold or salvaged. Oh my god, finally. See, like, this is like just a good change. Just like straight up, they needed to have a favorite. Because I would have to mark it as salvage so I wouldn't sell it and then unmark it later and move it away or whatever. Thank God. 2 additional character slots have been added. Ease the ability for players that haven't completed the campaign to access seasonal content earlier by adding the option to skip the campaign on character creation if any character in your account has completed the prologue. Again, this is something that a lot of people will rejoice on. They will say, hooray, because, you know, you look at Path of Exile, everybody's like, please don't make me go through the campaign again. But man, it's like, we're really deleting everything here, aren't we? There's a lot. There's a lot that's being removed. I mean, it's still available. Prevented wasted minion and companion attacks by ensuring minions and companions no longer target on invulnerable enemies. That seems good. Mounts. Improve the horse riding experience by improving the overall responsiveness of mounts. They are less likely to get stuck on barriers or slow down unexpectedly. We'll have to see how much, but the mount was fantastic, yet also terrible. It was fantastic because it was great to ride around the world on it, and it did a lot for that. It was terrible because, God, it would just get stuck on things and slow down. It was so annoying. Reduce the time it takes to travel across Sanctuary by increasing spur duration, which now breaks barricades. Oh, nice. So you can actually break down a barricade there. That's really nice. Base speed it increased by 15%. This does not affect top speed. Okay, but still nice because base speed was a little slow. Remove the need for players to place their cursor on the edge of the window for max speed. Ah, praise. That was so annoying. Improve combat and mount versatility by reducing ability cooldowns by 50%. Okay. Manual dismount cooldown has been reduced from 10 to 5 seconds. Forced dismount from damage has been reduced from 10 to 4 seconds. Wow. The delay between dismount combat skill becoming available after mounting has been reduced from 10 to 3 seconds. Holy cow. Why even have a cooldown at that point? It's like 30 to 15 for forced dismount. Okay. Yeah, because forced dismount was 30 seconds. It was awful. My first thought when I read this is that's going to be too good in PvP. Because in PvP, you're chasing somebody, you hit, they're running, you're chasing, you hit, blah, 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 blah. But like you have to be able to hit them enough to prevent them from mounting up and just riding off. And it was already kind of difficult. I feel like people are just going to be able to mount up and escape now pretty easily. But maybe they're fine with that. Additional stashes have been added to all capital cities and your important vendors. Another great change. Reduce the need to travel to capital cities by adding stashes to all small towns with waypoints. I mean, it's great. Like, these are quality of life things that just needed to exist for sure. Reduce the need to travel to capital cities by adding a cultist to the Tree of Whispers waypoint. Reduce the need for additional walking. Purveyors of Curiosities have set up shop closer to the waypoint in several cities. Improve navigation through Sanctuary following character creation by adding 10 waypoints to the list of automatically unlocked waypoints for those that skip the campaign. There are 2 waypoints in each region. For players that choose to skip campaign and haven't unlocked these 10 waypoints, they will not be automatically available. All of this is like great, and again, just like basic things. And this is something where, I think of like Diablo 2 Act 3. The town just sucks because all the vendors are so far away. It's like, oh, you want to repair your items? Go across that bridge and all the way up there. Oh, you want to go and get your mercenary? Run all the way over there. It's like, oh my God, it's so awful. Nobody likes towns that have characters just like so spread out that you need to go see. So just bringing the stuff close together, so much better. So much better. And same with like stashes. Having your stash be like way across from the waypoint. You're like, just let me go to my stash easily. So that's good. All of this is good stuff. Stash search functionality has been added. Hey, look at that. You can filter on things. You can type in the search. Let's go, baby. Again, another thing that just should have existed, but yeah, it's like, why this game just needed another year, man. So many things. UI and UX improved item sorting and overall organization by adding stash search and stash filter. Improved streaming functionality. I'm sure it was a corporate decision. I'm not blaming the devs for the game having to come out at that time. That's definitely from up above for, quarter revenue stuff. Improved stream functionality by adding streamer mode, which hides sensitive information, such as character names of Battle.net usernames. Interesting. Improved organization by displaying item affix tooltips in a more intuitive and consistent order. Is it fully fixed up here? Because that would be really nice. Like, having affixes always show up in the same order is so much better for readability. You can actually like pick up on them very quickly, and that's a massively big change and such an oversight at the beginning. Like, I that was so confusing to me that wasn't in the game. Improved organization by grouping extracted aspects with the same legendary powers together when sorting your stash and inventory. Again, really nice changes. Fantastic. Improved navigation functionality by adding the ability to auto run. When moving in a direction, the player will continuously move in the direction faced or where the cursor is placed until another movement is activated or skill is initiated. All right, that doesn't really matter for me, but for some people, sounds good. Improved navigation by adjusting the zoom level of the mini-map. Big thumbs up. Now, how about the zoom level of the camera itself? That's my question. Add an option for hiding all combat text. Vulnerable, dodge, fortified. Oh my God, so good. I mean, they are getting there. They are getting there. This is, again, huge. These seem small, but these are all huge. Item affixes being correct, hiding all that combat text, adjusting the level of your zoom on your mini-map. Now, let me have an overlay mini-map if I want. I still think that stuff needs to be in there, but improved unique item visibility. I don't think it was hard to see, but improved access to the screen reader option and improved cursor contrast colors and options for versatility and customization. This is only a top level list. To take a more in-depth look, watch the recap. Team also discussed the Season of Blood Battle Pass and shed light on improved rewards from the free tiers. All right. So they're improving free tiers for that. Hmm. There's only a top level list, yeah. So there's a whole 2-hour stream on it, but I feel like that does cover a decent amount. Does this have all that? Yeah. It's that same thing. See if there's anything else in here that we missed. There's the stuff being brought closer. Battle Pass changes. Here we go. Smoldering Ashes will now unlock automatically and be spendable at earlier levels. 3 new season blessings. Okay. And that's it. And they're adjusting uniques. Okay. So the last thing to say on it is this was part 1. They said there will be more. I'll go right here. Don't miss our next campfire chat on October 10th. That will cover class balance changes, updates to damage resistances, because remember, those just haven't worked for the whole time, changes to unique item acquisition, and more. If you'd like to read our article that provides a look at the upcoming season, let's see this article. I don't see anything about itemization written right there. I really hope itemization is on that, besides changes to some uniques. All right. Overall thoughts. I think they did a decent job with that. We'll see what comes October 10th. There is still more to be done there. Sorry. There's still more to be done there. And so October 10th, we'll see if they really dive into, again, like the core base pieces. I mean, again, I can't overstate how boring and bland the itemization is right now, and how if that doesn't get fixed, so many things on top of it just won't matter. The game will not be fun for a long time if you have no joy in grinding to get the items, because the items don't have any value and mean nothing to you. So even if they go in and they make some fixes to like adjust damage buckets so vulnerable isn't so like crazy important, and like some of that stuff, which will be good, because it is annoying that like crit, vulnerable, crit, are like 3 bases on everything and stuff. And it's just like, I'm just building the same item on every single slot and every class wants the same thing. Then like you still gotta, that doesn't do enough. The affix pool is still really boring in my opinion. Nobody cares about damage, from or against chill, damage versus slow, damage versus frozen, damage versus crowd control, damage versus, like that stuff. I honestly think if they don't change the affix pool and fix that up, itemization isn't going to get where it needs to get. That's my personal belief. You can think otherwise, but that's to me why I think Diablo 4 crashed so hard. But that being said, I think this is the first really positive note we've seen from the Diablo 4 team in a bit. It really does have a lot of good additions. There's a lot of feedback that many people gave that is being implemented in ways of like, hey, people that play this game maybe know some things. Hey, item affixes should be in order. I should have zooming on the minimap because it's not fun with like it being crazy zoomed in over there. I mean, they were just the town adjustments, bringing my stash and vendors closer so I'm not going everywhere, fixing up mounts, all of that stuff. They really did a lot of good changes with that, and I don't think it's the devs needing other people to do their job for them. I think it's important to listen to a player base and recognize sometimes, oh, hey, yeah, we built this and it wasn't good, so let's change it to something that is good. So I think there's a lot of positives from this. Like, there are a lot of positives. My biggest concern is most of those positives are just QOL, which isn't changing the core still. So if the core isn't good still, once again, I don't think it ultimately changes enough to like make people stick around for too long. But it will be nicer at least to have less frustration along the way. And my other biggest concern is that they're scrapping so much of the game. That is so many things, so many of the grinds, whether it was the objectives or the renown or the leveling to 100 or the I mean, I'm trying to like go back and look really fast. The pieces they just removed. They were just like, all right, it's not fun, so we're just removing it completely. And that worries me because it's like, yes, which again, I that's where I struggle the most on how I should feel. Because it's good that they got rid of crappy mechanics and systems, but it's bad that so many things are getting streamlined. Oh yeah, items, that they're removing normal items, white items, sacred items, so you're only getting ancestral rare / legendary. It does concern me a little bit that it's just turning into like a single button masher, simple game with no complexity depth pieces to it there whatsoever. Yeah. So it shows their hand a little bit. Again, rather than improving the possibility of lower tier items or white items or blue items or any of that, they're just scrapping it. So it's just leaning more and more casual there in that way, and just having less and less thought and less to do, which I don't think is always the best idea, even if the current systems aren't fun. I think fixing those is better. But other people will definitely have different opinions on that. Just like people have different opinions on so many things. And, I think back to when they made the change to teleport in front of Nightmare Dungeons, which is now teleporting inside of Nightmare Dungeons. And it just brings it even further. Like, what is your vision then, developers? Because you created this whole massive, world, and it's supposed to be this open world game. But now we're just sitting in town and just teleporting into a Nightmare Dungeon. And so what's, like, I almost wish they would do more to make the world a really fun place rather than just take, all the hassle out, because that part wasn't fun. I think there's improving that is the better way. But, maybe they're just trying to fix and get the game into some spot now that is at least viable, and then they'll build up from there, right? So maybe they'll reintroduce world stuff more later on. And they have a couple things like the world events, but again, those are like loot pinatas that aren't really that great. They've got the Hell Tides, which I actually did enjoy Hell Tide. And now the Hell Tide plus the Blood Harvest, which seems like the same exact thing, but just every hour. So they're kind of like putting you in some ways. But yeah, it definitely feels like they're stripping the game down and then like restarting and kind of building along the way. And I don't know. It feels a little bare bones to me right now. So that is part 1 of the Diablo 4 campfire chat. There will be another part. I'll probably, for that one, be able to actually like listen in fully and then do a whole talk right thereafter rather than just going through the notes of the blue post. But I think, this still gave us a pretty good breakdown of it. So, anyways, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, YouTube. Peace.